abandon, abandonment, abdicate, abolish, absorption, absurd, abundance, abundant, abysmal, accelerate, acceleration, accessible, acclaim, accolade, accommodation, accomplish, accountability, accumulate, accumulation, accurate, acknowledge, acquaint, acute, adapt, adaptability, adequate, adherence, adjacent, adjust, administer, admonish, adoption, adore, adorn, advent, adversary, adversity, advocate, aesthetic, effect, affiliation, affluent, aggregate, ailment, allege, alleviation, alliance, allocate, aloof, alphabetical, alter, ambiguity, ambiguous, ambivalent, amiable, ample, analyze, anecdote, anguish, annihilate, antagonist, Antarctic, anticipate, anticipation, antique, apathy, apparent, apparently, appease, append, appreciate, apprehension, approach, appropriate, arbitrary, arbitration, archive, ardent, arise, articulation, aspect, aspiration, assemble, assess, assign, assimilate, assimilation, assist, assume, assumption, assure, asteroid, astonish, astute, atmospheric, attach, attain, attribute, audacious, augment, augmentation, austere, authentic, authenticity, author, authority, automate, autonomous, autonomy, available, avert, avid, aware, baffle, believer, benefit, benevolence, benevolent, bequeath, bias, biased, billion, biologist, blatant, bolster, bond, brevity, brief, brisk, broadly, bulk, burgeoning, calculate, callous, candid, capable, capacity, carbon, catastrophe, cautious, cease, seed, challenge, channel, chaotic, chapter, charisma, chart, chemical, chronicle, circular, circumstance, cite, clarify, classify, cognition, cognitive, coherence, coherent, cohesive, coincide, collaboration, collapse, colleague, collective, colossal, coma, commence, commend, commission, commit, commitment, commodity, communicate, community, compassion, compatible, compensate, compile, complacent, complement, complex, compliance, complicate, component, compose, comprehend, comprehensible, comprehensive, compress, compromise, conceive, concept, conception, concession, concise, conclude, concur, concurrent, condemn, condense, conduct, confer, confess, confine, confirm, conflict, conform, conformity, confront, congenial, connotation, conscientious, conscious, consciousness, consensus, conserve, consistent, consolidate, consolidation, conspicuous, constant, constantly, constitute, constrain, constraint, construct, consult, consume, contact, contemporary, context, contingent, contract, contradict, contradiction, contrast, contribute, contrive, controversy, convene, convergence, convert, convey, convey, convince, convoluted, coordinate, copious, cordial, core, corporate, correspond, corroborate, counterfeit, covet, creation, credibility, crest, criteria, crucial, culminate, cultivate, culture, cunning, curiosity, currency, curtail, cycle, data, dawn, deal, dearth, debate, debris, decade, deceit, declaration, decline, dedication, deduce, defer, define, definite, deft, deliberate, deliberate, deliberation, deluge, demeanor, demise, demonstrate, denounce, dense, deny, depict, deplete, depress, deprive, deride, derive, design, desirable, desolate, despite, detain, detect, deteriorate, determine, detrimental, devastate, deviate, device, devise, devote, devout, dichotomy, differentiate, diligent, dimension, diminish, dioxide, discrete, discrepancy, discriminate, disdain, disparity, dispel, disperse, displace, display, dispose, dispute, disrupt, dissent, dissipate, dissolve, distinct, distinctive, distort, distribute, divergence, divergent, diverse, divert, docile, document, domain, domestic, domesticate, dominate, dormant, draft, dreamless, drown, dubious, duration, dynamic, earnest, eclectic, economy, ecosystem, edit, effectively, efficacy, efficiency, elaborate, elation, element, eligible, eliminate, elucidation, elusive, emancipation, embark, embellish, emerge, eminent, emit, empathy, emphasis, emphasize, empirical, empower, empowerment, enable, encompass, encounter, encyclopedia, endorse, endure, enforce, engage, engagement, enhance, enlighten, enmity, enormous, enrich, enrichment, ensue, ensure, entice, entirely, entity, environment, envision, ephemeral, equate, equip, equitable, equivalent, erratic, erroneous, error, escalation, esoteric, espouse, establish, estrange, eternal, ethicality, evade, evaluate, evaluation, eventually, evident, evoke, evolution, evolutionary, evolve, exclude, exemplary, exhibit, exorbitant, expand, expect, expedite, expert, explicit, exploit, explore, export, expose, exquisite, extend, external, extinction, extract, extravagant, facile, facilitate, factor, fallacy, falter, famously, fathom, feasibility, feasible, feature, federal, ferocious, fertilizer, fervent, fickle, finance, finite, flagrant, flame, flexible, fluctuate, focus, footprint, forage, foresee, formally, format, formidable, formula, forthcoming, fortification, foster, foundation, fragile, fragment, fragmentation, framework, frivolous, frugal, function, fundamental, furthermore, gallant, garner, generate, generation, genuine, geological, glimpse, global, goal, grant, gratification, gratify, grievance, grim, grotesque, guarantee, guideline, guile, hamper, handful, haphazard, harass, harbor, harden, harness, hazardous, heed, hence, herald, hierarchical, hierarchy, highlight, highly, hinder, hoard, holy, homogeneity, hostile, humidity, humiliate, hypothesis, hypothetical, iconic, identical, identify, ideology, idiosyncratic, ignorance, ignorant, ignore, illicit, illuminate, illusory, illustrate, immaculate, immense, immerse, imminent, impact, impartial, impartiality, impede, imperative, implement, implicate, implicit, imply, impose, imprudent, inadvertent, incentive, inception, incessant, incidence, incisive, inclination, incline, include, income, incompatible, inconspicuous, incorporate, increasingly, independently, index, indicate, indigenous, indignant, indignation, indirectly, indispensable, individual, induce, inept, inert, inevitability, inevitable, inevitably, inexplicable, infamous, inflict, infrastructure, ingenious, inherent, inherently, initiate, innate, innocuous, innovate, input, insatiable, insert, insight, insightful, insinuate, insipid, insolent, inspect, instability, instigate, instinct, institute, institution, instruct, insulate, intact, intangible, integrate, integration, integrity, intelligence, intense, interact, interaction, intermediate, interpret, interval, intervene, intricate, intrinsic, introspective, intuitive, inundate, invalidate, invariably, invasion, invest, investigate, invisible, invoke, involve, irate, irk, isolate, isolation, issue, item, itinerant, jargon, jovial, judicious, justify, juxtapose, keen, kindle, knack, label, laborious, lament, largely, ladder, laud, lavish, layer, lecture, legislation, legitimacy, legitimate, leisure, lethargic, liable, liberal, liberate, likewise, lingering, link, livestock, locate, logic, lucid, lucrative, luminous, magnanimous, mainstream, maintain, major, malicious, malt, mammal, manifest, manifestation, manipulate, manual, mar, margin, marginal, marginalization, mass, massive, mature, meager, mechanism, media, mediate, medical, medium, melancholy, merely, meticulous, migrate, military, mimic, minimal, minimize, minimum, minuscule, misconception, mitigate, mobilization, mobilize, modest, modify, momentous, monitor, monotonous, morose, motivate, mundane, mutual, naive, negate, neglect, negligent, network, neutral, nevertheless, nitrogen, norm, notable, notion, notorious, novelty, nuance, nuclear, nullify, nurture, objective, oblivious, obscure, obstinate, obtain, occupy, occur, offset, ominous, onerous, ongoing, option, opulent, orient, ornate, outcome, outlandish, output, outset, outsource, outweigh, overall, overlap, oversee, oversight, overt, pace, pacify, painstaking, palpable, panel, paradigm, paradoxical, parameter, parched, partial, participate, particular, partnership, passive, patronize, peculiar, penchant, perceive, percent, perceptive, peril, period, peripheral, perpetual, perplex, persistent, perspective, persuasive, pertinent, phenomenon, philosopher, philosophy, physical, pinnacle, plausible, plethora, poignant, polarization, policy, polished, ponder, portion, pose, positive, potent, potential, potentially, pragmatic, precarious, proceed, precedent, precipitate, precise, precisely, precocious, predicament, predict, predictable, predominant, preeminent, preliminary, preservation, preserve, presumably, presume, presumptuous, previous, prey, primary, prime, principal, priority, proceed, proceeding, process, proclaim, prodigious, professional, proficient, profound, profoundly, prohibit, prolong, prominent, promote, prone, proportion, propose, prospect, protocol, provisional, prudent, psychology, publication, punctual, purely, pursue, quaint, qualify, quell, query, quintessential, quiver, quote, radical, rampant, range, ratio, rationale, react, reconcile, reconciliation, recover, redistribution, redundant, refine, reflect, reform, refrain, regime, region, regulate, reinforce, reiterate, reject, relate, relevant, reliability, relinquish, reluctant, rely, remake, remarkable, remedy, remorse, remove, renowned, repel, replenish, replicate, repress, reproach, require, reside, resilience, resilient, resolve, resonate, resource, respond, restore, restrain, restrict, retain, retaliate, retention, retract, reveal, revenue, revere, reverse, revise, revolution, rigid, robust, roll, root, rudimentary, sacred, sacrifice, safeguard, sanction, sanguine, savor, savvy, scant, scenario, scheme, scope, scratch, scrutinize, seamless, sedentary, semblance, sequence, serene, series, shelve, shift, shrewd, significant, simulate, simultaneous, sight, skeptical, sluggish, solitary, somewhat, soothe, sophisticated, source, specific, specify, sphere, spin, spontaneous, sporadic, stable, starve, statistic, status, staunch, sterile, stifle, sting, stint, straightforward, strategy, strenuous, stress, structure, style, subdue, submit, subsequent, subsidize, subsidy, substitute, subtle, succeed, succinct, sufficiency, sufficient, sum, summarize, summary, superficial, superfluous, supplement, suppress, surely, surmount, surpass, surveillance, survivor, sustain, sustainability, sustainable, swear, symbol, synergy, tangible, target, technical, technique, technology, tedious, temporary, tenacious, tenacity, tense, tentative, terminate, theme, theory, thinly, thoroughly, threat, threshold, thus, thwart, topic, trace, tradition, tranquil, transcend, transform, transition, transmit, transparent, transport, trench, trend, trigger, trivial, truly, tumultuous, ubiquitous, ultimate, ultimate, ultimately, unanimous, undergo, underlie, undermine, undertake, unequivocal, unify, unique, unite, unprecedented, unscrupulous, utilize, valid, validate, validation, very, vast, vehement, vehicle, venerable, versatile, version, vertebrate, vex, via, viability, viable, vicious, vigilant, vindicate, violate, virtuous, visibility, visible, visual, volatile, volatility, volcano, volition, volume, voluntary, voracious, vulnerability, vulnerable, wane, wary, welfare, whereas, whimsical, widespread, withdraw, withdrawal, withstand, witness, woeful, workforce, worsen, yield, zealous, zenith, zest,